The night was thick with the damp chill of a late winter fog, as the moon hung high over the sleepy Italian town of Civitavecchia, its beams slicing through the mist like a cold blade. The usual hum of the Mediterranean breeze had died down, and the streets were eerily quiet. But deep in the labyrinth of narrow alleyways and desolate streets, a blood-curdling scream shattered the silence. In the shadows of an old, run-down building near the harbor, a grisly discovery was made, a body cruelly dismembered and left in pieces. The lifeless form of Alessandro Coatti, a local bartender known for his easygoing nature, had been brutally murdered in what seemed like an act of pure rage. No one could have anticipated that a man with a charming smile and a good reputation would meet such a gruesome end. This wasn't just another unsolved mystery in a small coastal town. This was something darker, something more personal. The discovery of Alessandro's dismembered remains sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community, and with it, a sense of dread. Was this the work of a random killer? Or something more sinister, tucked away in the heart of the town? Alessandro Coatti wasn't supposed to be a victim. He was just another face in the crowd, a bartender who worked at the popular Porto bar nestled by the harbor in Civitavecchia. It was a place where locals gathered for their evening drinks, and tourists, oblivious to the complexities of life in the seaside town, sipped cocktails and watched the sunset over the glistening Mediterranean Sea. But Alessandro's charm wasn't confined to the bar. He was well-liked. Friends said he had an infectious laugh, and he knew how to make anyone feel like they were the center of attention. Yet, it was his very charm that would set the stage for his tragic fate. On the evening of his murder, Alessandro had been working late. The bar was bustling, and the usual crowd had gathered. His friend, Marco, a regular at the bar, remembered joking with him about the late shift. "You sure you're not planning to leave early tonight, Alessandro?" Marco had teased, sipping his wine. Alessandro had laughed it off. "Not tonight, my friend. The night's still young." Hours later, Alessandro disappeared into the foggy streets, his last steps marking the beginning of an unspeakable crime. The following morning, when the fog had finally started to lift, a fisherman who frequented the harbor stumbled upon the first part of the body. At first, he thought it was a joke, perhaps a prank someone had pulled. But when he got closer, he froze. What he saw wasn't a joke, it was horror incarnate. Alessandro's remains were scattered across an abandoned warehouse, as if carefully placed by the killer. His head, limbs, and torso were separated, placed with meticulous yet unsettling precision. Whoever had done this wanted to send a message. Detectives immediately cordoned off the scene. Crime scene investigator Laura Ferry stood in disbelief as she examined the dismembered body. What was supposed to be a routine investigation was anything but. The brutal nature of the crime spoke volumes. The forensic team found something even more disturbing. Alessandro's cell phone, unlocked and open, showing a series of strange texts sent earlier that evening, messages to a person whose name was unknown to anyone close to Alessandro. It wasn't long before the police began looking into Alessandro's personal life. He had a few enemies, but nothing that would suggest this level of violence. He was loved by many, trusted by his friends, and he didn't seem to have any ongoing conflicts. Or so it appeared. The first few days after the discovery were filled with confusion. The police launched a thorough investigation, but nothing seemed to add up. Alessandro's close friends, including Marco, had been interviewed, but none could provide any concrete details about his personal life or any suspicious activities leading up to his death. The first break in the case came when they finally identified the person who had been texting Alessandro the night of his murder. It was a woman named Giulia. She claimed to have been dating Alessandro for a few months, but she had never told anyone about their relationship. Giulia appeared to be a quiet, reserved woman. She didn't seem like the type who would be involved in something so brutal. The investigators brought her in for questioning. At first, Giulia was cooperative, but when asked about the text, she became defensive. "We were just friends," she insisted. "Alessandro was a great guy. I don't know who would do such a thing. Her body language was telling, though shifty, uncomfortable, as if she was hiding something. The detectives dug deeper into Giulia's past. They found out she had been involved in a turbulent relationship before Alessandro. Her ex-boyfriend, a man named Fabio, had a criminal record, and it appeared that he had a history of violent behavior. Could he have been involved? As the investigation continued, the police also learned that Alessandro had been secretly meeting with a mysterious man in the weeks leading up to his death. This man, whose identity remained a mystery, was allegedly seen with Alessandro on several occasions. The deeper the investigation went, the more tangled the web became. Interviews with Alessandro's friends revealed strange inconsistencies. Marco, the best friend who had been with Alessandro the night before his death, admitted to being with him at the bar. But then he changed his story. "I saw him leave, but I didn't think much of it," Marco explained, his voice shaky. "He told me he was meeting someone." But when pressed further, Marco claimed he didn't know who that someone was. The truth began to slip through the cracks. As the police investigated further, they uncovered a network of lies. Giulia, the mysterious ex-boyfriend Fabio, and even Marco all seemed to be connected to Alessandro in ways they hadn't previously admitted. Could Alessandro have been involved in something darker? Was there more to his life than anyone realized? Just when the case seemed like it was slipping into cold case territory, a breakthrough came. Forensic evidence from Alessandro's phone revealed a chilling detail. His last known phone call had been made to a local man named Antonio Rossi. Antonio, a man with a criminal history of assault and robbery, had been in the vicinity of the motor scene that night. But he had a solid alibi. He had been at a nearby bar with a group of friends. However, when the police dug into his past, they found something interesting. Antonio had been involved in a bitter dispute with Alessandro over a failed business venture months before. Could this be the motive? Was Alessandro's business deal gone wrong the real cause of his brutal death? As the investigation progressed, theories started to circulate. Some believed Antonio had gone to extreme lengths out of rage, while others thought that Giulia might have played a more significant role in Alessandro's death. Was she the mastermind? Did her secret relationship with Alessandro fuel some sort of jealousy or revenge that led to his dismemberment? There were still many unanswered questions, and some experts believe that certain crucial evidence was overlooked. Could the dismemberment itself point to a ritualistic motive, or was it simply an act of rage? In the end, after months of investigation and courtroom drama, the case reached its conclusion. Antonio Rossi, the prime suspect, was convicted of Alessandro's murder. The motive? A twisted combination of jealousy, anger, and revenge, born from a failed business partnership. Giulia, despite her earlier involvement in the case, was cleared of all charges. Marco, too, was found to be innocent of any direct involvement. The case of Alessandro Coatti's dismemberment was finally resolved, but the haunting images of that fateful night would remain with the people of Civitavecchia forever. The story of Alessandro Coatti's tragic end teaches us a powerful lesson about the complexities of human nature and the consequences of our actions. No one is truly immune from the darkness that can lurk within, and sometimes even the most trustworthy and charming individuals may unknowingly find themselves tangled in situations beyond their control. This case reminds us that things are not always as they seem, and that the truth can be buried under layers of deception. But in the end, justice prevails, no matter how long it takes. Let this story be a reminder to always question assumptions, to seek the truth, and to be cautious about the company we keep. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the other one.